Everybody knew that I had 200 employees. It wasn't no secret. So what you think? I was paying them in hamburgers? Somebody was paying that payroll. I was doing that. So if you wanted to now say the story is MC Hammer just pissed his money off when you knew that I was employing 200 people from my community, it said more about you than it did about me. We were dying. This is the real thing. It's not fake. Go and look at the murder rate in my city at the time. Some of the people that were dying were my classmates, my neighbors. So when I had the hammer thing, I would literally call home. I'd be on the road. I'd call home. I said, hey, what John doing? What you mean what John doing? John dead. I said, what you mean John is dead? I just talked to him 2 weeks ago. He said, yeah, John dead and Sam killed him. Sam lived 2 houses down from John killed him. Let me speak to Sam then. Hey, Sam, man, check this out, man. Why? I said, why don't you come out here on the road with me, man? I can give you $30,000 a year. I can't give you what you're making on the block, but man, I can't have you keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you killing the very cats we grew up with. Well, 10 turned to 20, 20 turned to 30. I'm cool with that. I was cool with that because the amount of money that I was generating was worth the lives to me. If a guy that you know in the middle of the crack era, when everybody was dying, machine guns everywhere, decided he wanted to try to pull some guys out of that, if his fate is to be the guy who we're going to introduce for the next 14 years is, hey, we're going to talk about MC Hammer next, how he pissed off 30 million. Man, that's what you get for trying to contribute to the community.
All right, giving all praises to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua B'Hashem HaRachakodash. Say double honors to our apostles and elders. Here, great millstone, peace and blessings to the Lord, hopefully elect. So a brother has shared that probably like a week or so ago. And I remember this quote here where it's titled, no good deed goes unpunished. So I read the description of it and it reminded me of that clip, right, of MC Hammer. So there's always something you can learn. And I remember hearing that growing up, that MC Hammer tried to put his block on and it actually, backfired on him. Now, from if you don't understand the scriptures or have wisdom, then somebody like MC Hammer, right? You would think that that's something noble. You would think that that's something smart. That's what you would call giving back to the community, and that that means you're doing a good thing. Well, the scripture says that men in their heart, let me see. Scripture says there's a way that seems right unto a man, seemeth, is probably what it is. Right. So Proverbs 14 and 12. And there's also repeated in Proverbs 16 and 25. It says, there is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Right? So a man can do what he seems right, but he may not know that what he's doing is wrong. Or what he may not know is that he can bring a blot upon himself, or it may even lead to his own downfall. So the best way to seek knowledge and understanding is to come to the book, come to the Bible. And when you read books such as like Proverbs, Psalms, or Ecclesiastes, or Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, these are books of wisdom that actually teach you what's right and what's wrong. And, you have to have wisdom. Wisdom is very, beneficial for you. And wisdom is the true riches. Because, MC Hammer had to learn the hard way that what he thought was right didn't work out. And you could basically say it didn't change anything, because the scripture says that when you do good unto a man, you're really supposed to do good unto the godly, right? You have to try the spirit. You have to, filter using the scripture to understanding that your good that you do is really supposed to be to those whom you find deserving, worthwhile, right? That, you may not be right 100% of the time, but the Lord sees your heart, right? And the scriptures actually advise you to withhold your good from those who are not worthwhile or those who are not deserving, right? Book of Proverbs 4, it says, "Hear, ye children, the instruction of the Father, and attend to know understanding. For I give you good doctrine. Forsake ye not my law. For I was my father's son, tender and only beloved in the sight of my mother. He taught me also, and said unto me, Let thine heart retain my words, keep my commandments, and live. Get wisdom, get understanding. Forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding." So this is what matters. So if we read what that phrase, it's not a scripture, but it's a phrase, right, that the world uses called "no good deed goes unpunished." Well, it means, it says, no good deed goes unpunished is a sarcastic phrase that means acts of kindness can backfire on those who perform them, right? They can backfire, right? It's often used to convey the idea that those who help others are destined to suffer as a result, right? Well, that's not, you could say, definite, right? But we're going to read some scriptures that can show you that doing, you could say, good unto those who are not worthy can actually backfire, right? So that's basically what it means. The phrase no good deed goes unpunished" is a sardonic commentary on the frequency which acts of kindness backfire on those who offer them. So we'll just read a few scriptures on that and use MC Hammer as his situation, as an example, because you can learn from it. First one that come to mind is the Book of Sirach, chapter 12. It says, "When thou wilt do good, know to whom thou doest it, so shalt thou be thanked for thy benefits. Do good to the godly man, and thou shalt find a recompense, if not from him, yet from the Most High. There can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil, nor to him that giveth no alms." Right? So you have to identify these guys. If you're, like you said, you trying to put murderers, I know he's, unless he's been for real, but I know he's uh, just being metaphoric, right? That he called back to his neighborhood and he found out that his own people hurting each other. So he says, okay, well, I'm gonna finance them and put them on a job. Well, just because you put money in their pocket doesn't necessarily mean you're changing the inward of them, the inward mind, right? If anything, you could be indirectly enabling them in a sense where they feel rewarded for doing the evil that they have been doing. For them, there could be no desire of change. So it said there can no good come to him that is always occupied in evil. And you have family members like that. You have acquaintances or so-called friends. You may, I'm cool with people where, as far as, you know, how do you say, conversations and, you know, maybe playing a game or something like that. We cool at that level, but I know him enough to know that, like, bro, I would never work with you. I would never hire you, type of deal. I would never loan you money or trust. You know what I'm saying? That you can trust that you'll pay me back. Some things like that. So any alms or any services I offer is going to be limited, right? Because I'm wise enough to know that, you're just not a reliable dude, or you're just not a reliable person, right? So you gotta examine, right? This is applying wisdom. All right, verse 4 says, "Give to the godly man and help not a sinner," right? Because we all fall upon the hard times, both the godly and the sinner. All of us do, right? So those who have a good reputation, a good heart, right? Or just known for at least doing the best they can as far as what's right or what's wrong. Sure, everybody needs help every now and then, so sure, help them. But it says, help not a sinner. It says, do well unto him that is lowly, but give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread and give it not unto him, lest he overmaster thee thereby. Right? Meaning, so we're going into that phrase, right? You see where that phrase stems from. And that's the best way to put it. That phrase that they put out there is not a Bible scripture per se, but it can be the understanding of it is basically pulled from the scriptures, because the scriptures and life experience. But the Bible has the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So it could be found in the scriptures. The understanding can be in the scriptures. So it says, do well to him that is lowly, and give not to the ungodly. Hold back thy bread and give it not to him, lest he overmaster thee thereby. So just like that definition, right? When they say no good deed goes unpunished, you call yourself doing a good deed to the wrong person, right? You could be punished for it. It says, for else thou shalt receive twice as much evil for all the good that thou shalt have done unto them. So that you see where that understanding of no good deed goes unpunished comes from. Doing the right thing for the wrong person can lead to much evil to you, right? Now, the reason you can't really just say that that's definite, because some of the examples that people give you is just the stuff that can happen to life, but the Lord can reward you. Like there's an example of we've all experienced this before, but there's an example of what's a good example? It's almost like I just read one recently. But like, say if you got somebody who took the time to, think of that movie, Set It Off with Jada Pinkett. She was at bank register, right? She came in, tried to rob the bank, and she didn't comply. Right? But nevertheless, because she knew him, that was enough for her to get fired. Right? And that's why she felt that ain't right. And even though she said, but look, I did my best. I followed protocol, right? Like I put the bank before my relationships with him, and I said no, and they still said, well, we thank you for that, but we still gonna have to let you go because you know him, right? That's unjust. And you got other situations like that, right? Somebody helped somebody, right? But then the job will still fire them because technically they broke protocol. You hear stories like that, and that's just life, right? It's unfortunate. Um, this is not a righteous kingdom. At the end of the day, Yahweh Shem Yahushua sees all things. So what you can be considered a loss in a situation like that in the eyes of the Lord is a blessing. So the Lord sees those things. So the scripture talk about taking the low and allowing him to reward you in a sense, but you can't say up. See, that's the scripture. It tells you that if I do something good, I could be punished. No. That's why you just got to really just stick to the scriptures. You can understand, like MC Hammer's example is an example, right? In his eyes, he was doing what seemeth right and what was good, but it was incorrect, because his thing was just, the problem with my people is that they lack money. So I'm going to be the one to give them money, and that's going to make a change. Well, that's where he was wrong, because he realized that them people didn't have the same ambitions and the same heart as him to say like, okay, MC Hammer did it to me, now I'm going to do it to somebody else. That's not their goal. Their goal was, oh, shoot, I'm going to take this money. I got some free money. And then I'm going to still use that money or whatever he's letting me do to continue to do the wickedness that I've been doing. Right? It says, for the Most High hated, okay, let me finish. Okay, no, because for the Most High hateth sinners and will repay vengeance unto the ungodly, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. Give unto the good, help not the sinner. Right? Another example you can find yourself trying to correct someone, correct the individual, or a brother or a friend, or whatever you think it is, because you have the wisdom and you may know, okay, here's the right thing. But guess what? According to the scriptures, you saying what you would consider the right thing isn't always the time to say it, right? As Proverbs 9:7 says, he that reproveth a scorner getteth himself shame, and he that rebuketh the wicked man getteth himself a blot. So you say, well, wait a minute. How is me correcting somebody who's wrong? How can I receive a punishment for that? Well, because you have to use wisdom. You have to see that some individuals, some wicked people, some wicked men don't want to hear the right thing. And if anything, they just waiting on somebody to correct them or tell them that's wrong. So then they can try to what? Come at you, fight you, hurt you, or maybe even kill you. You see it all the time. So you just let them, sometimes you just keep silent. You say, I ain't gonna say nothing because I already know where it's gonna go if I try to tell you what's right. Even though I know what's right, you don't want to hear it. And if you do hear it, it's gonna punish me for it. See? It goes on to say, reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. So you see how the scriptures tell you that doing the right thing, really for the right person, is what matters, right? It said, don't even bother reproving a scorner, lest he hate thee, lest you bring yourself a blot. You know, you got a lot of nigglets and gremlins around here walking the street, causing a bunch of ruckus. Are you going to take the time to stop and say, hold on, bro, let me talk to y'all real quick. I'm tired of y'all talking to me. This ain't right, man. You leave them niggas alone and you just keep it pushing. You keep it moving. You know, these people wicked. And if you try to correct them, then they're going to look, who, what? Nigga, did you just correct me? We got beef now. And it's all because you decided to open your mouth. And this is why the scriptures talk about having wisdom. And there's many examples all the day long. The scriptures tell you that life and death is in the tongue. Another example, go to the book of Tobit. He counseled his son in a likewise manner. Let's see. I believe. Okay, I don't believe that's it. But nevertheless, what was on my mind? What was on my mind? Spirit left. It must have left me. But I read. Right. Okay. There's more examples. It's just seeing that left my mind. It's like on the tip of my tongue. But nevertheless, you know, the point is made. You have to be mindful of who you're doing good things to, and who is worthy of it. So, you know, what MC Hammer did is just an example you can learn from, though his tensions were, you could say, good. You could see, he, as he said at the end there, dang, this is what you get for trying to do. Well, you got to understand what righteousness is. Well, what good works are, right? you know, because the Lord also said that he will not cease to have the poor amongst the people. So a lot of people have to go through it because of judgment. The Lord has a lot of people in a situation because maybe they're sinners or because of their judgment. So, you know, you have to be mindful. And I think that that little phrase there, like when it says no good deed goes unpunished, that example with MC Hammer can be used, right? As it basically became a blot to him because what he thought was right technically wasn't. You know, it wasn't wise, as you could say. I'm sure the few he did help really appreciate it, but it wasn't wise. It wasn't wisdom. So this is really where you find the answers right here in the book, right? In the scriptures, right? This is why wisdom is very important. And I definitely want to at least end on that. Okay. So Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verse 13, verse 12, it says, verse 12, it says, and I turned to myself to behold wisdom and madness and folly. For what can a man do that cometh after the king, even that which hath already been done? Then I saw that wisdom excelleth folly as far as light excelleth darkness. Right. So King Solomon said that he like, you know, I have wisdom, but he's like, if there's one thing we all can't escape is, you know, death. So, but at the end he said, you know, wisdom excelleth folly. So wisdom is good to those who have it. I think that's another scripture. So it's beneficial to you, lest you, you know, fall into snares in the hearts of deception of people, right? So, you know, hopefully that was edifying. And with that, I say shalom.